Peace and blessing upon all of you. The story of Joseph and the lessons of faith. The Holy Quran teaches us about Prophet Joseph Yusuf. His brothers threw him into a well out of pure jealousy. Yet, when they reunited, Joseph did not just blame his brothers. He blamed the devil for the split. He said, "After Satan had induced animosity between me and my brothers." Quran chapter 12 and verse 100. The Quran also warns us that Satan's main goal is to create hatred among people. Satan only wants to cause between you animosity and hatred. Quran chapter 5 and verse 91. When greed takes over, people forget the fear of Allah and let the devil control them. This is the true story of how greed destroyed my own family. The broken trust and fake illnesses. One day, I called my family in Bangladesh. My second brother's wife answered the phone. The mean language she used absolutely terrified me. I was not ready for it. Her own brother was living in my father's house and eating our food for free, and I never said a word. Yet, she treated me with pure cruelty. After our father died, my second brother took a cupboard out of pharmacy and used it to start a neighborhood club. His real goal was to gather people so he could take control of our father's properties. Our dad owned 4 houses in Dhaka and 2 in Noakhali. My second brother and his wife lied constantly. They claimed he had multiple strokes and unstable blood pressure. These were all lies just to pocket the rent money. Do these people really believe in Allah? Do they fear him? I highly doubt it. For 5 years, he collected my rent and gave me only $1,000. Around 2010, my properties in Dhaka were worth $500,000. My second brother sent me a power of attorney document, asking me to give him the right to sell or gift my properties. He asked if I trusted him. How could I trust him when his wife treated me so poorly? My second brother has never done anything to benefit me. Even when I asked him for help, he just ignored me. Cruelty and stolen money. My other brothers were just as corrupt. The 6th brother thought he was the most powerful person in the family and tried to rule everyone. He collected my rent without permission and kept it. Our own father had officially labeled him an extremely rude person. The 1st brother acted like he was the only one in the family who needed money. He did not care if the rest of us starved. The most shocking news came when our mother was terminally ill in the hospital. He actually stole her medical treatment money and ran away. He was the cruelest person I have ever known. He even told our mother's only brother to stay away from our house. When our father was alive, he built a house in Tongi. Right after Dad died, the 1st brother claimed he had borrowed 250,000 taka from our cousin to build it. A few weeks later, he changed his story and said he borrowed 350,000 taka. I grew furious, and he finally dropped the fake claim. He never borrowed any money. I realized I was never safe around him. I had applied for U.S. green cards for all my brothers, but I could not bring someone to America who might commit crimes and get me into legal trouble. All of his plots were just to steal rent money. Does Islam allow this? They clearly do not care about the afterlife. The squeezed brains and stolen sustenance. True sustenance comes from Allah. He provides for all his creations. When I fell into hard times, I planned to sell one apartment to my 5th brother for around $22,000 to $23,000. We agreed that if I returned the money later, he would give me back the apartment. He paid me $19,600 and then stopped. My 6th brother knew about this deal. Suddenly, he claimed that I had agreed to sell 1.5 apartments for that same price. We never discussed this. He started using language so dirty and cruel that even the devil would not use it. He wanted to scare me so I would run away and abandon my properties. In Bangladesh, some criminals put a gun to head to force to sign papers. I live in the United States, so I stayed away. But I never signed any papers. Without documents, he cannot legally own a property. I told my 6th brother that smart people plot to gain something. My 5th brother made many evil plans and spent money, but he gained nothing. People call him greedy. When his tongue comes out in greed, his brain squeezes and stops working. Today, he is still illegally collecting rent from my 1.5 apartments in Farmgate. The true losers. My 6th brother claims to have political connections in Bangladesh. He uses this to terrify the other brothers. For the last 14 years, he has collected rent from 2 of my houses, kept it in his bank account, and gave me only $5,000. They treat me this way because they think I am powerless. Through all of this, my fourth brother and I chose to stay away from the fights. We inherited these properties from our parents, but the other 4 decided we should have no say in dividing them. We accepted whatever they decided just to keep the peace. Conclusion. Human beings must depend on Allah, but my brothers do not believe this. They forgot that Allah knows exactly what is inside their hearts. Their greed has brought shame upon our parents' name. Before my fourth brother died, he stated, with the sixth brother as a witness, that his only son should inherit his properties. I warned them not to touch the orphan's wealth. Yet, these 4 brothers put the orphan's property under their own names, and even added my name to it. The first brother has already died after doing this evil deed. I do not feel I should even attend the funeral prayers for these people. I offered to help them sell the Dhaka properties years ago to invest cleanly in U.S. real estate. If they had listened, those investments would be worth over $18 million today, and each brother would have $3 million and a huge yearly income. Instead, because they stayed behind to fight, the value of the properties dropped from $3 million to less than $2 million due to currency collapse. They lost over $1 million because of their own greed. They filled their brains with plots to steal, which Islam strictly forbids. I told my sixth brother directly, the 4 of you are total losers in this world and the next. The world would be a much more peaceful place without your greed. They tried to make me a loser, but true loss belongs to those who trade their souls for worldly wealth. So much sorrow in life. Take a break and listen as Iong with attention.
The cost of wrongful force. A hand reaches out to take what is not theirs, ignoring the texts, the warnings and the prayers. To steal by your force or take by your might is tearing apart what God made so right. The property stolen is heavy with sin, a terrible loss before you begin. The law of the Lord is perfect and clear, a boundary built for all to feel deep respect. The sacred decree protects what we own, a truth that the stars and heavens have known. Your life and your wealth are holy and clean. No shadow of force should enter between. But greed makes a heart grow heavy and blind, leaving the fear of the judgment behind. The verses are clear, they speak to the soul, to keep our desires in righteous control. The prophet has warned that force is a crime, a darkness that echoes through space and through time. If you take a yard or steal a small space, you push yourself out of blessings and grace. They are not of us, the messenger said, of those who will strike to get ahead. A hand that is soiled by taking a share will find that it loses the power of prayer. A man stands alone, all dusty and gray. He raises his hands to heaven to pray. He calls to his Lord in sorrow and pain, but all of his tears are crying in vain. His food is unclean, his clothing is bought with money and wealth that sins have beguiled. His voice cannot reach the heavens above, cut off from the light of mercy and love. The home that you build on land you have taken will crumble to dust, forgotten, forsaken. The crops that you plant must all be undone, withering down in the heat of the sun. No profit is yours, no blessings will stay. The owner can tear your structures away. The root of injustice can never take hold. It cannot be saved by silver or gold. And what of the day when trumpet sounds ring, and every small choice is brought to the King? The land that you took by force and by greed becomes a great weight for every bad deed. 7 deep earths will encircle your neck, a physical chain in spiritual wreck. The dirt that you stole will pull you right down, a heavy distress instead of a crown. The victim will stand and ask for their due, and take all the good deeds away from you. Your fasting and prayers will all disappear, leaving you cold with sorrow and fear. And if you have nothing left in your hand, the sins will be yours to carry and stand. The property speaks, a witness so true. It cries to the Lord to testify on you. So give back the wealth before it is late, before you are locked behind a dark gate. True peace is a life where hands remain clean, where no act of force is ever yet seen. The melody ends with warning so deep, a promise of justice the heavens will keep. Return what you took and open your eyes, for only the honest inherit the skies.
The Sacred Rights of the Orphan, In Islamic law, forcefully taking away anyone's property is a major sin known as zulm ghasbi. However, doing this to an orphan is condemned as one of the most severe and destructive sins in Islam. The Quran and Hadith give terrifying warnings about the spiritual ruin and physical punishment waiting in the afterlife for those who do this. The Quran explicitly warns against stealing an orphan's wealth in Surah An-Nisa. Indeed, those who devour the property of orphans unjustly are only consuming into their bellies fire. And they will be burned in a blaze. Quran chapter 4 and verse 10. Furthermore, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, commanded us to avoid the 7 great destructive sins. Along with shirk and sorcery, he explicitly named, to eat up an orphan's wealth. The betrayal of our family. My 4th brother passed away and left clear instructions that his only son should be the sole owner of his properties. My 6th brother was a direct witness to this. I strictly warned the family not to consume the wealth of my 4th brother's son. Yet, they ignored the laws of Allah and society. The 4 corrupt brothers forcefully put the orphan's property under their own names, and they even added my name to the deeds without my permission. The 1st brother has already died, passing away shortly after he put the orphan's property under his name. Do I even need to attend the funeral prayers of these 3 remaining brothers? Because of their extreme cruelty and endless plotting, I often ask myself, is there black magic involved here? I cannot find any other logical reason why they show such constant cruelty. Their brains are always occupied with plotting to take what belongs to others. This is a complete betrayal of our parents, who spent their lives helping their relatives improve their quality of life. My parental aunt's husband lives adjacent to a house notorious for practicing black magic on others. For more than 50 years, this reputation has extended well beyond their village. Black magic is mentioned in the Quran. Anyone who denied its existence falls outside the fold of Islam. The blindness of greed. Our mother passed away in 1990, and our father passed away in 2009. I applied for U.S. green cards for all my brothers and their children. I suggested to them many times, you have enough capital to move to the United States and build a highly successful business. But they completely ignored my advice. Inspired by the devil, they chose to stay behind and destroy each other by snatching away family properties. I proposed to my 6th brother that we should sell all of my 4th brother's properties and buy something secure for his son in Switzerland. However, they had already stolen the properties. They might even wish for my death so they can inherit my share. I gave them a stunning warning, don't touch the properties of my 4th brother's son. I will take action if Allah gives me the power. Our Prophet said that if people see a wrong, they must correct it with their hands. They ignored my warning and mocked me, saying, you cannot even protect your own properties. How can you protect your brother's son's properties? These 4 brothers only believe in what is right in front of them, like immediate rent cash. Their sight cannot look beyond today. My 6th brother mentioned that the father of my 4th brother's wife is very rich and living in Switzerland. Since he doesn't need any financial help from our side, I told my brother to ask him to transfer the property ownership documents to us. No respond. The reality of financial ruin. My 4th brother and I stayed completely out of this ugly fight. Today, in 2026, the battle is still going on. My brothers became massive losers because they chose greed over smart financial planning. Look at the math of what they lost because they did not listen to me. The 2009 plan. In 2009, $1 was worth 67 Bangladeshi taka. They could have sold the family house next to Farmgate for 33 million taka, about $500,000 USD. The development. With that money, they could have built an 8-story building in Kochukat on our 6.3 Katha land. Around 2012, they could have sold it for 6,500 taka per square foot, making 140 million taka, $2 million USD. The expansion. In 2013, they could have used that money to build a massive building in Tongi on our 12 Katha land, where 1 Katha equals 720 square feet. It would cost 120 million taka to build. They would have kept $300,000 USD in cash and eventually sold the Tongi property for $2.5 million USD. In total, they could have cleanly brought $2.8 million to $3 million US dollars into the United States. What they have left today. Instead, because they stayed behind to plot and fight, the Bangladeshi taka collapsed. Today, $1 US equals 123 taka. If they sell the Farmgate house right now, they can only get a maximum of 40 million taka, which is a mere $320,000 USD. This money is not even enough to build a house in Kochukat anymore, where prices have risen to 7,750 taka per square foot. They would only make $1.4 million USD from it. That money would not be enough to build the building in Tongi, where costs are now 5,500 taka per square foot. Even after selling Tongi for $1.8 million USD, the entire estate in Dhaka is worth less than $2 million USD today. By choosing to steal instead of following good advice, they lost over $1 million in direct asset value in this world, while completely ruining their afterlife. The massive loss of the American dream. If my brothers had followed my advice back in 2013, they could have invested our family capital into United States real estate. They could have purchased a building worth $12.5 million. By paying off the bank loan over 30 years, they would have completely owned the building by the year 2043, $3 million. $2.5 million to invest in real estate. $500,000 to invest in business. By today, in 2026, they would have been able to sell that American property for close to $18 million. That means each of the brothers would have walked away with $1.5 million. Instead, because they chose to stay behind and fight, the total value of all our parents' properties in Dhaka has dropped to less than $2 million. But in 2026, 18 to 9 equals 9 million is bank money. From building we would get $9 million. If they had just listened, that US building would have featured multiple ground floor shops. They would have earned a net rental income of close to $200,000 a year, allowing them to live completely free. On top of that, running businesses in those shops would have brought in at least another $400,000 a year. Each brother could have easily had $2 to $4 million right now in 2026, enjoying a completely worry-free retirement. In 2026, 2 properties right across the street from the "for sale" signs are renting their studios for $1,900 a month. I have attached the screenshot. Instead, they occupied their brains with how to snatch away the properties of their own brothers, which is strictly forbidden in Islam. I told my 6th brother directly, "The 4 of you are absolute losers in this world and the afterlife. Without the 4 of you, this world would be a much more peaceful place." My mother complained about my oldest brother. After he stole her money at the hospital, I feel she felt it was a curse to have given birth to him. I also feel it is a curse for our family to have him in it. I have never seen our neighbors or relatives act this way. These 4 brothers want to destroy the other brothers. Although Allah and the Prophet, peace be upon him, commanded us to maintain family ties, I must leave for my own safety due to the actions of these 4 brothers. A pattern of destruction. The fight between the 2 youngest brothers has become incredibly intense. Ever since they put our deceased 4th brother's orphan son's property under their own names, the community has brought deep shame upon our parents' honorable name. These 4 brothers intentionally kept me in financial hardship. My 6th brother even had the nerve to tell me that I should just hand over my remaining properties to them and never contact them again. They tried their best to make me a loser in this world. Human beings must depend on Allah. But these 4 do not truly believe. They do not believe that Allah knows exactly what is hidden inside the human heart. If they claim they believe, their actions completely contradict it. They spent their lives destroying each other and harming me. I always believed I would earn my own living, but their actions forced me to depend on the wealth our parents left behind. Yet, even when I faced severe financial trouble, they refused to give me my rightful share of the rent. No good could ever come from a household where the uneducated wife of the 2nd brother took control with a corrupt mind just to pocket rent money. Because of the 6th brother's intimidation, I could not even speak up to my 2nd brother when he withheld my share. I refused to get involved in such nasty, physical fights. But now, the devil has turned his inspiration against them and separated them. The fifth and sixth brothers are locked in an intense, miserable struggle against each other for control. Back in 2012, the potential value of our parents' estate was close to $3 million. Today, in 2026, it is worth less than $2 million. They lost over $1 million in direct value. If they had invested in the US, their properties would be worth $6 million or more out of pocket today, and they would be living safely. Instead, they are still plotting to destroy one another. Even if they had followed my secondary plan to sell the Farmgate house and build in Cochucat, the first brother would have ruined it. He was supposed to manage it while the youngest three lived in Switzerland. But the first brother always tried to steal cash. If a construction cost was $1, he would lie and claim it was $2. He would have spoiled that plan anyway. People are simply not safe around these kinds of characters. The Rejected Street. Lewis Opportunity. Right here in St. Louis, Missouri, there is a very famous hospital called Barnes Jewish Hospital. Just 2 blocks away from this massive hospital, prime land was, and still is, up for sale. It is the perfect, golden location to build a commercial property and run successful shops. I previously reached out to my brothers about many opportunities and even sent them pictures of the location. They completely ignored me. Their minds were too occupied with how to illegally, and even forcefully, take the properties of their own blood brothers. They showed absolutely no mercy. This location is incredible. It sits just half a block away from Forest Park, which is the biggest park in the city and home to the St. Louis Zoo, the St. Louis Art Museum, and the Missouri History Museum. Within just 1 block, there are 2 5-star luxury hotels. There is a 2-star hotel half a block away, and another 5-star hotel just 2 blocks away. Best of all, Barnes Jewish Hospital has a massive workforce of close to 9,000 employees right at the doorstep. The business potential was massive, but their greed made them blind. Conclusion. I want to make it completely clear to everyone watching, I did not make this video to correct or fix my brothers. The devil has already taken them far too away from the guidance of Allah. I tried to help them for years, but my efforts only made the situation worse. They have absolutely no mercy for their own blood. The current behavior of the 2 youngest brothers is deeply disturbing. They will absolutely pay a heavy price for this cruelty, either in this world or in the hereafter. They prefer to flex their physical muscles rather than use their brains. The 6th brother recently told me that the 5th brother built a wall over the 2nd brother's property. He is going out of his way to cause trouble for others, gaining absolutely nothing from it while losing his own money. I truly hope that people will learn a lesson from this 100% true story and correct their own lives. Allah created us for one ultimate purpose, to worship Him. We will all return to Allah one day, even though most people live their lives completely forgetting this fact. A truly wise person will fear Allah and stay far away from committing sins. We came from Allah, and to Him we shall return. Let listen a song. I wrote the song based on Quran and Hadith. Hope people would listen on it. If you like the song and message, please share with people. This is based on true story.
The fire inside. An orphan child stands lonely in the cold, with no protector for their piece of gold. The book of God has drawn a heavy line to guard their wealth by absolute design. The verses warn us not to step too near, to treat their small inheritance with fear. You must not switch your broken items out to take their finest things and leave them doubt, to steal their land or use a clever lie is seen by Him who rules the open sky. The prophet spoke of 7 deadly paths that break a soul and bring the highest wrath, along with murder and the darkest spell. He placed the ones who rob the weak as well. To eat an orphan's wealth is such a stain. It ruins every prayer and brings us pain. He warned the weak to never take the lead, lest simple carelessness turns into greed. The sacred law protects the child's own right, a shield that shines through every day and night. But if a person breaks this strict command and takes the money with a heavy hand, they choose a path of fire and disgrace, and lose their share of blessing and of grace. The food they buy, the water that they take, becomes a burning coal for their own sake. The holy text describes a scary doom for those who push the helpless to their gloom. They think they won a treasure in the dark, but on their soul they left a blazing mark. The money changes to a literal flame that fills their belly with a burning shame. They walk around with secrets in their chest, but in their heart they find no peace or rest. The years may pass, the child will surely grow, but time won't wash away the debt you owe. The sin remains as heavy as a stone until you face the King upon his throne. You cannot hide the cash or change the past. The truth will catch the runner at the last. Then comes the day when every trumpet blows, and every hidden secret clearly shows. The wrongdoer will stand in deep despair, without a single friend or helper there. The orphan child will step up to the scale and tell the judge their sad and painful tale. The thief will watch their good deeds slide away. Their fasts and prayers will finish on that day. The victim takes the blessings from their hand, leaving them broke before the Holy Land. And if the good deeds run completely dry, The thief will hear a final bitter cry. The orphan's sins are lifted from their back and piled upon the thief in bundles black. With heavy chains and flames around their eyes, they fall from grace beneath the shaking skies. They are cast down into the blazing deep to pay for promises they did not keep. So give it back before the sun goes down, and trade that stolen gold for mercy's crown.
Allah provides us with the straight path, yet the devil sits upon it to deviate humanity from righteousness. My plan for our inheritance was simple, honest, and straightforward: sell the properties in Dhaka and reinvest the capital in the United States. Instead, 4 transgressors set out to destroy others, ultimately trying to snatch away what rightfully belonged to their own brothers. The 2 older brothers constantly lied just to pocket the rental income, showing absolutely no mercy or consideration for anyone else. The oldest brother acted with extreme arrogance, believing he could commit any evil and force everyone to comply with his desires. He genuinely believed that the intelligence in his fingernails outweighed the collective brainpower of all his brothers combined, thinking his evil plots would never be discovered. Meanwhile, the younger 2 brothers demanded absolute obedience, using extreme cruelty and rudeness to enforce their will. Through their greed, they ruined everyone, including themselves. If they had followed my advice, today in 2026 each of us would be collecting $20,000 every month. Now, the oldest brother's family complains that they do not have enough to support themselves. For 17 years, the devil occupied their minds and became their guardian. Because they allowed Satan to control them, outside forces took advantage of this division, completely destroying our family bonds, causing financial ruin, and inflicting deep suffering upon the innocent. If I were to document every incident, it would fill a massive book. Society has a lot to learn from our family about how a corrupt mind can destroy both others and itself. Those who are plotting evil should take warning: harming others will ultimately destroy the perpetrator. As Allah says in the Quran, chapter 35, verse 43, behaving arrogantly in the land and plotting evil. But evil plotting only backfires on those who plot. Are they awaiting anything but the fate of those destroyed before? You will find no change in the way of Allah, nor will you find it diverted. This divine verse reminds us that those who plot evil against others will ultimately be destroyed by their own schemes. Experience this song in diverse styles in its definitive, corrected version. We urge you to share its message of accountability on every street corner. May this melody open hearts and minds to the profound impact our actions have on others.
The cost of wrongful force. A hand reaches out to take what is not theirs, ignoring the text, the warnings and the prayers. To steal by your force or take by your might is tearing apart what God made so right. The property stolen is heavy with sin, a terrible loss before you begin. The law of the Lord is perfect and clear, a boundary built for all to feel, deep love for God and fear. The sacred decree protects what we own, a truth that the stars and heavens have known. Your life and your wealth are holy and clean. No shadow of force should enter between. But greed makes a heart grow heavy and blind, leaving the fear of the judgment behind. The verses are clear, they speak to the soul, to keep our desires in righteous control. The prophet has warned that force is a crime, a darkness that echoes through space and through time. If you take the ark or steal a small space, you push yourself out of grace and bless. They are not of us, the prophet said, of those who will strike to get ahead. A hand that is soiled by taking a share will find that it loses the power of prayer. A man stands alone, all dusty and gray. He raises his hands to heaven to pray. He calls to his Lord in sorrow and pain, but all of his tears are crying in vain. His food is unclean, his clothing is bought with money and wealth that sins have begot. His voice cannot reach the heavens above, cut off from the light of love and mercy, and his prey don't reach above. The home that you build on land you have taken will crumble to dust, forgotten, forsaken. The crops that you plant must all be undone, withering down in the heat of the sun. No profit is yours, no blessings will stay. The owner can tear your structures away. The root of injustice can never take hold. It cannot be saved by silver or gold. And what of the day when trumpet sounds ring, and every small choice is brought to the King? The land that you took by force and by greed becomes a great weight for every bad deed. 7 deep earths will encircle your neck, a physical chain and spiritual wreck. The dirt that you stole will pull you right down, a heavy distress instead of a crown. The victim will stand and ask for their due, and take all the good deeds away from you. Your fasting and prayers will all disappear, leaving you cold with sorrow and fear. And if you have nothing left in your hand, their sins will be yours to carry and stand. The property speaks, a witness so true. It cries to the Lord to testify on you. So give back a wealth before it is late, before you are locked behind a dark gate. True peace is a life where hands remain clean, where no act of force is ever yet seen. The melody ends with warnings so deep, a promise of justice the heavens will keep. Return what you took and open your eyes, for only the honest inherit the skies.
These four individuals forgot the old adage that honesty is the best policy. Driven by greed, they cause suffering to others. They imagine they can get away with committing such heinous acts, but they are mistaken. They aspire to wealth, yet, there is no harm in being wealthy, and they had the opportunity to become so honestly. But, with a corrupt mind, they spread this corruption across all his earth and cause harm to their brothers. I invite you to listen to this song.
A fire inside. An orphan child stands lonely in the cold, with no protector for their piece of gold. The book of God has drawn a heavy line to guard their wealth by absolute design. The verses warn us not to step too near, to treat their small inheritance with fear. You must not switch your broken items out to take their finest things and leave them doubt. To steal their land or use a clever lie is seen by him who rules the open sky. The prophet spoke of 7 deadly paths that break a soul and bring the highest wraths, along with murder and the darkest spell. He placed the ones who rob the weak as well. To eat an orphan's wealth is such a stain. It ruins every prayer and brings us pain. He warned the weak to never take the lead, lest simple carelessness turns into greed. The sacred law protects the child's own right, a shield that shines through every day and night. But if a person breaks this strict command and takes the money with a heavy hand, they choose a path of fire and disgrace and lose their share of blessing and of grace. The food they buy, the water that they take, becomes a burning coal for their own sake. The holy text describes a scary doom for those who push the helpless to their gloom. They think they won a treasure in the dark, but on their soul they left a blazing mark. The money changes to a literal flame that fills their belly with a burning shame. They walk around with secrets in their chest, but in their heart they find no peace or rest. The years may pass, the child will surely grow, but time won't wash away the debt you owe. The sin remains as heavy as a stone until you face the King upon his throne. You cannot hide the cash or change the past. The truth will catch the runner at the last. Then comes the day when every trumpet blows and every hidden secret clearly shows. The wrongdoer will stand in deep despair, without a single friend or helper there. The orphan child will step up to the scale and tell the judge their sad and painful tale. The thief will watch their good deeds slide away. Their fasts and prayers will finish on that day. The victim takes the blessings from their hand, leaving them broke before the Holy Land. And if the good deeds run completely dry, the thief will hear a final bitter cry. The orphan's sins are lifted from their back and piled upon the thief in bundles black. With heavy chains and flames around their eyes, they fall from grace beneath the shaking skies. They are cast down into the blazing deep to pay for promises they did not keep. So give it back before the sun goes down, and trade that stolen gold for mercy's crown.
What audiences will learn from this video? This video delivers a powerful true story and a vital warning for everyone. Above all, Allah commands us to treat others with absolute justice. Disobedience to God brings severe destruction, both in this worldly life and in the afterlife. Furthermore, Our prophet, peace be upon him, warned us that those who cut off their family ties will not enter paradise. The destructive path of greed. In this video, you will witness the shocking behavior of 4 individuals who chose to sever their family bonds just to find a false sense of security. Complete disrespect. The 2 younger individuals completely forgot how to show respect to their elders. Blinded by wealth, driven by pure greed, they were ready to fight to the bitter end, even if it meant destroying others. Zero wisdom or civility, they acted without a shred of wisdom. Their behavior was incredibly rude, and they used such foul language that no civilized person would ever want to speak to them. Slave mentality. While I tried to show them how to become their own bosses and build true independence, they took pride in remaining employees, celebrating working under someone else. Stealing from family. To make matters worse, they gladly conspired to take away the property belonging to their 4th brother's son. The cost of corruption. All of these actions do nothing but destroy a person's soul. Because of their corruption, they blinded themselves to any good advice. They were so desperate to nail down their own brothers just to control rent money that they ruined their own futures. Over 13 years they lost $1 million in property value. They destroyed their potential to become truly wealthy. They threw away assets that would be worth $5 million today. Final advice. A warning to society. My ultimate advice to everyone is simple. Follow the commands of Allah and His Prophet, peace be upon him. Remember, Allah knows what we do not know. I truly hope society learns a profound lesson from this true story. Be cautious and kind when dealing with your relatives. Do not fight aggressively to control your siblings' properties. Do not be rude, and never think only of yourself. Look out for others, follow God's commands, and always deal with people with justice.